Some artists spend years grinding, releasing music, and building a name for themselves, only to never truly break into the mainstream. Others take a completely different route. They rebrand, switch up their sound, image, and vibe, and suddenly they're on top of the world. And that's exactly what's happening with Chappell Roan, Doechii, and Sabrina Carpenter. 3 women who have spent years in the industry trying to find their place before finally reinventing themselves and creating some of the most talked about music of the year. But what exactly changed for them? Why are their careers skyrocketing now after years of being overlooked? And is rebranding the real key to longevity in today's music industry? If you're now just hearing about Chappell Roan, you might think she's some overnight sensation. After all, her song Good Luck Babe is everywhere and she's being hailed as the future of pop music. But the truth, her journey to the top was anything but easy. In fact, just a few years ago, she was on the brink of disappearing from the industry entirely. Like many aspiring artists, Chappell Roan started out with big dreams. She got signed to Atlantic Records in 2017, and for a moment, it seemed like she was on her way to mainstream success. But back then, she was making safe, radio-friendly pop music, the kind of stuff labels love to push. The problem? It didn't work. Despite the backing of major label, her songs failed to gain traction, and by 2020, Atlantic Records dropped her completely. For most artists, getting dropped from a major label is basically the kiss of death. It means the industry doesn't see value in you. It means your chances of making it big just got a whole lot smaller. At that point, most artists would have given up. But Chappell did the exact opposite. Instead of fading into obscurity, she took a completely different approach. She decided that if the industry didn't believe in her, she was going to make music on her own terms. Gone with the polished, mainstream-friendly pop girl persona. Instead, she fully leaned into something that felt more authentic to who she really was. A mix of camp, drag-inspired visuals, and theatrical performances that felt fresh, bold, and unapologetically weird. She started doing her own makeup, styling her own look, and taking full creative control of her music and performances. Her new sound? A blend of 80s synth pop, queer culture, and raw storytelling. And suddenly everything changed. The thing about the music industry is that it loves originality, but only after the artist has already proven they can pull it off. And Chappell was proving it. With each release, her fans started growing. People were drawn to her unique aesthetic, infectious energy, and commitment to being completely herself. Then came Good Luck Babe, the song that officially changed everything. The track exploded on social media with people falling in love with its catchy melody and emotional depth. But it wasn't just the song itself that caught people's attention. It was the person behind it. Chappell Roan was finally getting recognition, not just as a singer, but as a full-fledged pop star with a vision. But here's the kicker. Labels didn't believe in her at first. She had to prove to them that she was marketable on her own terms before the industry started paying attention. It was only after she built a devoted fan base and generated massive streaming numbers that people in the music business realized, oh wait, she's actually a star. So what made her rebrand so successful? Why did it work when so many other artists fail at reinvention? For one, she stopped trying to fit the mold. Instead of chasing trends or trying to be the kind of pop star that the industry wanted her to be, she fully embraced her uniqueness. She also built her own identity. Chappell Roan doesn't look or sound like anyone else in the industry right now, which instantly makes her stand out. Most importantly, she connected with her audience. Fans love authenticity, and Chappell's new image felt real, bold, and completely her. That kind of honesty resonates with people. Now she's being called pop's next big thing, but the truth is, she's been working towards this moment for years. But while Chappell Roan built her success by completely redefining what a pop star should be, another artist took a different route, blurring the lines between rap, R&B, and experimental music. Doechii is one of those artists you can't pin down, and that's exactly why she's winning. If you look at where she started, you'll see a completely different artist from the one we know today. She first popped up on people's radar as an underground rapper, grinding her way up with tracks like Yucky Blucky Fruitcake. That song got some attention, mostly because of its quirky storytelling and the way she effortlessly switched flows. But even though she had talent, it was clear that breaking into into the mainstream was not going to be easy. In hip-hop, there's a tendency for artists, especially women, to be put into specific categories. You're either a lyrical rapper, a sex symbol, a conscious artist, or a pop-leaning rapper. There's not a lot of room to be all of those things at once, and Doechii seemed to realize early on that if she kept trying to fit into one lane, she'd always be limited. So she made a bold choice. She stopped playing by the rules. Instead of trying to be the next big female rapper, she became a musical chameleon. She wasn't just rapping anymore. She was singing, screaming, whispering, playing with vocal textures, and doing things that felt way more experimental than what most artists in hip-hop were doing. Her sound became genre fluid, pulling from rap, R&B, pop, and even alternative influences. And her visuals? Completely unpredictable. And this is where her rebrand really started to take off. If you watch Doechii perform, you'll notice that she doesn't just stand on stage and rap. She transforms. Her live performances are theatrical, high energy, and completely unique. One minute she's giving raw emotional bars, and the next she's dancing, screaming, or delivering avant-garde visuals that look like they belong in a high-fashion art film. It's impossible to look away. This shift didn't happen overnight though. It took time for people to really catch on to what she was doing. At first, some fans weren't sure what to make of her new artistic direction. But then, song by song, performance by performance, people started to see the vision. She wasn't just trying to be another rapper. She was trying to be a full-fledged artist in every sense of the word, and that's what set her apart. Her versatility started getting her noticed by big artists and producers, and before long she was collaborating with some of the biggest names in the industry. But what makes her rebrand even more significant is that it's not just about switching up her sound or experimenting with her look, it's about taking back control in an industry that often tries to box Black female artists into specific roles. Look at how the music industry treats Black women in hip-hop. There's constant pressure to either be ultra feminine or hypersexualized, or to be tough and aggressive. There's very little space for anything in between. Doechii, however, completely rejected those limitations. She created her own lane, where she could be all of those things or none of them, depending on what she felt like at the moment. And the result? She's one of the most talked about and respected new artists in hip-hop. People don't just see her as a rapper, they see her as a creative force. She's proving that being unpredictable is the best way to stay relevant. Instead of chasing trends, she's setting them. Instead of trying to fit the mold of past female rappers, she's breaking it completely. What's even more exciting is that she's still evolving. Every new release feels like a new chapter, and you never know what to expect from her next. That kind of artistic freedom is rare, especially in a genre that often forces artists to stick to a formula. But Doechii is showing that refusing to be boxed in is what's making her career explode. And this is the era we're in right now, where artists who take risks, who reinvent themselves, and who challenge the industry's rules are the ones winning. Doechii's rebrand is proof that the best way to make it big is to be completely yourself, no matter how different that looks for the norm. But what happens when an artist not only shifts genres, but completely reinvents their public image and personality? That's exactly what Sabrina Carpenter did, and it turned her from a forgotten Disney star into pop's new it girl. Sabrina Carpenter's career didn't blow up overnight, and that's what makes her rise so fascinating. For years, she was just another former Disney star trying to make it as a pop star, but nothing really stuck. Sure, she had a solid fan base and some decent streaming numbers, but she wasn't standing out in the industry the way she is now. There was always this feeling that she was on the edge of something bigger, but for a long time, she wasn't quite there. And part of that was because her music, while good, didn't feel distinct. Like many former Disney stars, she struggled with shedding her child star image while still trying to appeal to a mainstream audience. Her songs were catchy, her voice was great, but her artistic identity wasn't fully formed yet. She wasn't someone people talked about outside of her music. In an era where personality and branding matters just as much as the music itself, that held her back. That is, until she rebranded. Sabrina completely switched up her approach, and that's when everything changed. She leaned into a cheeky, playful, ultra-confident persona that felt miles away from her Disney days. Her style became bolder, her performances felt more effortless, and her social media presence became just as engaging as her music. She wasn't just releasing songs anymore. She was creating a full aesthetic and attitude that people could connect with. And then came Espresso, the song that turned her into one of the biggest pop stars of the moment. It wasn't just the song itself that made an impact though. It was the way everything lined up perfectly. The playful lyrics, the carefree, flirty energy, the viral dance moves, and her sudden ability to make everything she did feel effortlessly cool. Suddenly, she wasn't just another former child star trying to make it in the music industry. She was the pop star everyone was talking about. But what makes her rebrand even more impressive is that it doesn't feel forced. It feels like she finally stepped into the artist she was meant to be. Instead of following the typical path of Disney kid trying to be taken seriously, she flipped the script. She embraced the fun, the flirtiness, and the humor in her music and persona, making her feel like a breath of fresh air in the pop world. It's not just about changing her sound, it's about owning her narrative. The difference between Sabrina Carpenter now and Sabrina Carpenter 5 years ago is that she's in control. She's no longer trying to prove herself or break away from her past. She's fully confident in who she is as an artist, and that confidence is what's drawing people in. Now, she's not just a singer, she's a pop culture moment. She's setting trends instead of following them, and in an era where rebranding can make or break an artist, Sabrina has shown that the best way to win is to stop trying to fit in and start making people pay attention. All three of these women, Chappell Roan, Doechii, and Sabrina Carpenter, have proven one thing. Rebranding isn't just about image, it's about evolution. It isn't just a marketing move, it's survival. They weren't handed success, they had to fight for it. And now they're dominating the music industry in ways that no one saw coming. So does this mean that every artist needs a rebrand to survive? Not necessarily. But in an industry where people are constantly looking for something new, the ones who succeed are the ones brave enough to evolve. So out of these three rebranded success stories, which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.